So recently I redid my Dollshe Saints Faceup just because I really wasn't happy with version 1, and I thought, hey, why not just take the camera and record some of the process that, basically all the shenanigans that goes behind it. Now this isn't scripted or anything, I'm just going to go spontaneously just tell you what I did, and maybe you'll learn something from it. So here you can see I started filming after I did the basic blushing, so I do all my blushing with an airbrush just because that's easier for me, and as you can see also the skin texturing I've already done. And here I'm actually darkening the bottom lashes. I've already drawn them on once in a lighter colour. I usually like to do that, just because sometimes I struggle to get them absolutely perfect the first time around. I think lots of you can understand that, so I just go in there a second time and darken them up and make sure I get the nice lashes that I want. And I'm sure you can tell I am a lefty and I have to handle the head accordingly, basically turning it around in lots of odd different angles, and I don't know, it's a bit odd. Sometimes I just have to do that to be able to get in there and really get in the right position to draw on a straight line. But sometimes that's what you've got to do. You've got to turn the head around this way and that and work with it, really. It's a three-dimensional object, so you can do that. So after I was happy with the lashes, I went in with pastels and I gave the lips a bit more dimension, and most obviously I laid down the basic shape of the eyebrows. Now what I do is just really simple. I mean, I go in there with a brush and I brush on pastels, and then I basically clean up the edges and clean up the shape with a netted eraser. I think that's quite a known method actually. And here I'm just checking in with the eyes and making sure that I like the expression. I always recommend doing this in between just to make sure you're getting the right look for your doll, because expression can be a big thing, really. Here's a really quick wonky shot of my pastels. I use a lot of Faber-Castell pastels and Schminke, because for me those are the best pastels to use, really. And here's a very long clip of me doing the eyebrow lines, which is honestly one of my favourite parts of the entire face-up, probably blushing and eyebrow lines really. But I used to get really frustrated with them because there's so much you can mess up with paint on a face-up, so yeah, I just recommend doing it really slowly, and again, starting with a lighter colour and then building it up into the intensity that you want. And yeah, well, excuse my left hand, it is a bit odd, it's tricky to record yourself with your left hand, I must say. I think right-handed people have it a bit easier, but maybe next time I'll just put the camera on the other side of the desk. Here you can see I'm going in with a cotton bud and cleaning up what I basically don't want, and the only way you can really do that is if you use a retarder with your paints. Basically, a retarder makes it so that your paints dry a lot slower, and then they're still wet, and you can basically remove the paint with a wet cotton bud. If you're quick enough, that is. Yeah, so I do the eyebrows right at the end of the face-up usually. Also, same goes for the lips. As you can see, I've added in the lip lines here, and I add those in using Polychromos by Faber-Castell. They're just a very high pigmented, but also soft, blendable coloured pencil, and really easy to work with. And now all that's left really is glossing, so for a guy's face-up I don't really add lots of gloss. I don't want him to look like he's got shiny lips. So yeah, it's just a little bit really goes a long way on a guy's face-up. And it may look like much here, but my gloss doesn't dry as shiny, it dries rather, yeah, semi-matte, so I usually just go for that. I also like to gloss the tear duct and the waterline. I like doing that. I think it adds a lot to the face-up. So at this point I usually just check the sheen in the light, and other than that I'm done. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions regarding materials or the general process of a face-up, feel free to ask them down below. Those were the final shots for my Flickr portfolio, and here's a final little clip of him and his eyes and wig. And yeah, I really enjoyed making this. I hope to do some more on my own dolls in the future. Hope you liked it too, and I'll see you in the next one.